Hey friends, Alex Fisher here for another great tip. Today we're going to talk about how to control your trajectory around the green. So stick around. I'm going to show you with just a couple of subtle adjustments on your takeaway, how you can get the ball to spin a little bit quicker, but also how to get it to roll out if you need to as well. Okay, so let's get to it. So what can we do to control our trajectory around the greens? Well, primarily you're going to use your 56 or your 54, traditionally a sand wedge, around the greens, and it's so versatile that we can do many different things with it. What we're going to do here though is we're going to talk about how to make the ball roll out a little bit more if you want to, but also if you want to make it check a little bit quicker as well. So a couple of things we're going to do in our setup. We're not going to change our setup for either one of these shots. We're going to keep the ball relatively in the center of our stance. We're going to keep our feet pretty close together. We're going to keep our weight on our front foot as well. So as I take the golf club back from my standard pitch shot, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure on my takeaway, I'm going to keep my lead wrist, which is going to be my left wrist, flat as I go back. So as I do that, I'm going to keep the club face turned over like so. Whatever I do with this wrist on my backswing, I need to make sure I maintain that as I go through. I don't want to change that wrist position at all. So by setting up here, weight on my front, little rotation going back, and then going forward, as long as I keep that wrist relatively flat through impact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of create a shot that's not going to go super high or low, kind of a mid-trajectory shot, but it's going to roll out. Now, if I want to make that ball go high, and let's say if I have to clear an object right in front of me, instead of keeping that wrist flat, I'm going to go ahead and cup this wrist now. So I'm going to think about my knuckles pointing up towards the sky and opening that club face up. And again, whatever I do with this wrist here going back, I need to maintain that position with that wrist on the way through. It's going to require a little bit of a bigger swing. But what it'll do is it'll allow me to get a little bit more of a higher shot, and also I'm going to get the feeling of actually hitting the ground a little bit more with the back of the club. So just think about like making a couple of adjustments with your setup in terms of like what I'm going to do with my takeaway, keeping that wrist flat or keeping my wrist cupped through impact. Guarantee you'll have more fun around the greens.